This video is going to cover the cross-section sheets in accordance with the plans reading class. So we're looking at it from the front view. We're taking it, it's kind of like a typical section, but it's a cross-section. We're actually going out and we're seeing the existing ground, and we're going to see what the new proposed pavement that we're putting in, which you can see here. We got pavement here. Okay, the vehicles are a little big, but just to show how it works coming to you on this link. But anyway, you'll have a curb and gutter over here. It looks like curb and gutter on each side of that. So let's get into it. Cross sections. This is what a cross section sheet looks like. You'll see a cross section at each station, and usually they do them it just depends on the project. They'll do it either every 100 feet, 50 feet. If it's an intersection area, they might want to do it at 25. They'll do it closer. But in this case, you can see what we got here. We got a cross section representing what we're going to work on, what it's going to look like when we're out there. So we did profiles a little bit earlier. So the profile was measuring right along that center line, straight forward and back. A cross section will allow us to come out. Now we're talking about that cut and fill again, where you can see there's some existing ground up there. So in this case, we're going to have to cut out the ground to put this in. So we're going to have to cut that out to put our profile, put our cross section in on this example here. So let's get on with it. Cross sections are cuts taken vertically through the roadway, displaying the cross slope and pavement, and cross slope of the pavement and shoulders, and showing ground contours on each side of the proposed roadway. Other items that might be shown in the cross section include crossing routes, driveways, culverts, utilities, or any other important ground condition that needs to be addressed by the contractor. Cross sections are positioned where a culvert or other drainage structures cross under the roadway are referred to as culvert sections. Now, another thing that's important about these cross sections is knowing where that right-of-way is. Okay, so you can see existing right-of-way here and here. So what the designer is trying to do is make sure that where we put our roadway in and where we use our in condition, it does not go outside our right-of-way. We want to stay within that. So usually we'll label these on cross sections as well to see where that right-of-way is at, along with showing the pavement, the in conditions, whether it be a ditch or just a fill slope. Grade versus slope. A slope is typically the term used to indicate the change in elevation for line work in a section view. Slope is a description of the steepness of a line of work. Slope is figured as an equation of rise, vertical distance, over run, horizontal distance, but it's typically shown as a ratio of run to rise. However, slopes can be shown as percentages, but normally only when working with pavement and shoulder geometry. So example here, you see a side slope that increases in height 1 foot for every 3 foot of horizontal distance will be displayed as 3 to 1. Okay, so that's what you're going to see on your slopes. They have several purposes, including helping the designer determine cut and fill amounts, help determine the need for right-of-way or easements. If we're outside that right-of-way, you can see we're going to have to do something there, either bring in our slopes a little bit or change the situation, or go out and purchase more right-of-way, however we have to do it. It indicates locations where culvert or pipe is needed. Cross sections also show slopes at given locations along the corridor, provides more accurate view of what a certain portion of the project is going to look like when it's finished, and shows how proposed and existing features relate to each other in that portion of the project. So let me go back real quick here to this one here, and you can see we've got the proposed geometry out here. This is what we're going to place out there. You got your, it looks like, I know it's kind of small for me to see, but that looks like a curb and gutter, shoulder, and then you got your pavement coming across. You can see this is in a tangent area. The reason I know it's a tangent area, no curve, is because they're both 2% on each side. Okay, so I know we're on a straightaway. Now I look back over here and I can see another curb and gutter, and we have a ditch 4 slope going down to the ditch, and then a ditch back slope. Over here we just have a 4 slope going straight down to the in condition. So that's some of the stuff we learned in previous videos. Just want to go over it again. Now again, balancing cut and fill is extremely important, and cross-section sheets are another tool that can help designers to do this. When used in conjunction with profile sheets, cross sections can provide a very accurate depiction of the cut and fill necessary along the length of the entire project. Okay, so in this you see the cubic yards of cut and the cubic yards of fill, and this is between each section. So right now I don't know what this section was cut at. Typically it's 100 foot, but you will get some interpolation between. You don't know what's exactly going on in between, so sometimes they'll make them 50 foot to get more accurate cubic yards of cut and cubic yards of fill. So it just all depends on the project. If it's a straight tangent, 100 foot's probably perfect, it's fine. But if you get in a curve situation, you might want to do something a little different there. Culvert storm sewer sections shows pipe, slopes, sizes, location, elevation, and material. Show inlet, elevation, sizes, location, and openings. Often it shows class 3 excavation, which is the removal of dirt or other material for placement of pipes and inlets. Shows type, size, location, elevation, and more on culvert head walls. So in this little screenshot down here, you can see what we've got. We've got this 18-inch CMP. It's used in place, is what that UIP means. Corrugated metal pipe is the CMP. Normally what you'll see on that pipe though coming through here, since it's used in place, you're probably not going to see it, but if it's a new one coming in here, you're going to see a slope on this, and it's going to tell you what that slope is percentage wise, where it's at. You see it up here on the pavement, 3:1 down to 0.3. You'll see that, but you'll see it on the pipe as well. Okay, so you can see the pipe, and this is a side view of looking at that. It's got all the information down below it talking about it. Here's a drop inlet and pipe scenario as well. Usually you'll see the plan above and then the profile below. So I see a drop inlet here. It goes into another drop inlet, well, and then another drop inlet here, and then a pipe that goes across. And you can see the drainage of it. You can see that this inlet, and you see that flow arrow. You see this inlet here, and you see that flow arrow. They're going to this inlet. And this inlet is pointing across, probably going to a flared-in section out into some ditch somewhere. So you'll see that flow, and it tells you everything that you want to know about that. Again, when you look at it, you'll see that you've got, I'm trying to see if there's no slopes on this one as well, but this is the drainage diagram that you got going on here. So you see, when you look at the profile of it, you'll see the drop inlet, the drop inlet, drop inlet, and from this point it's going towards us. It's draining towards us. But usually you'll see, and you see the flow arrows in here again, you'll see those, but sometimes you'll see that slope that it runs, that pipe does. And that concludes that video.